Greetings, children. Oh, I was gonna play Animal Crossing, but my Switch is dead, so I guess that's not happening. Hi! Hello! Hi! Oh, yikes. Yikes! 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 We gotta start this shit over! Ugh. Give me 1 second. Okay, so we're gonna be talking about fucking, oh, I swore. Oops. Oh, God. What if I did the whole friggin' video like this, where I'm just like, welcome, star spirits, to another video about UTIs. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what we're going to be talking about today. The scary, beautiful, wonderful, awful, terrible, actually no fucking redeeming qualities of UTIs. Still a little overexposed. You know what? Would this make it like better for you if we talked like this, like in this like nice little overexposure vibe? Anyway, I want to talk about UTIs. I want to talk about my experience with UTIs. I want to talk about all of this, and I genuinely hope, dear Lord in the sky, please let the people that need to get this message get this motherfreaking message, because what I would do with this message if it was me like 5 years ago. Okay, so I want to talk about UTIs. Why, you might ask? So from the ages of, I want to say 16 to like 21 or 21, I had a chronic recurring UTI. Yes! Oh my goodness! And it literally took like 10 years off my life. I am not even kidding. It was probably one of the worst experiences I've ever had, because, you know, it's a chronic illness, right? Like, or just a chronic pain. And that sucks, okay? So, I have no structure. I'm just gonna probably go like in chronological order. And I'm gonna start with this. When I was a wee lass, I do recall having moments where I remember peeing and it burnt. And I was like, what's happening? And it would only ever be for like 2 days-ish at a time. And, yeah, and it would just like go away. So I don't really know what exactly that was. Probably like the universe being like, this is gonna happen in your future. Anyway, yeah. So really thought nothing of it. I mean, I was a child. I was thinking about other things. But I do recall that happening. Then, as I got older, I think I was like 16-ish, I remember having them again. And, you know, from, you know, childhood to 16, they never really bothered me. But at 16, I feel like it was kind of like ramping up a little bit. And I was like, okay, so I don't really understand what's going on, but this is happening. And by recurring, at the time, what was happening was that I would get comorbid symptoms, and comorbid means it's just like two diseases that are happening at the same time, that are not necessarily related, or at least like don't have any like clear relation. So I was having like an upper respiratory tract infection, and then also a UTI. And I remember the first time that I ever took antibiotics for a UTI, I was like around 16. I took amoxicillin, and I had an upper respiratory tract infection. And I just remember going to the doctor and then being like, this is super normal. Like, this is fine. You'll be fine. Just take them, whatever. So I took them. I took the full dose and really thought nothing of it. As I got older, and this was specifically the worst when I was in my first 2 years of college, freshman and sophomore year. And they would, when I was in high school, I really don't remember them being that bad. I just remember having like kind of here and there. It would maybe happen like once a year. And then when I turned 19, it really went downhill really, really fast. So what was happening was I was getting recurring UTIs. This is now like 2 times a year, 3 times a year. And really like not really knowing like what to do about it. So there was a couple times where I had just, again, like these comorbid symptoms. It was strep once. It was a URI like a few times. It was COVID once, or like COVID-like symptoms. And I'm going through this thing where it just does not stop. I take the medication and then it comes back. I finish, I go to the doctor, I talk to them about it. They're like, this is normal. Here's medication. Here's cephalexin. Here's the one that starts with an M that's blue and, or sorry, white and, sorry, not even, none of these colors, yellow and black. You know, and I'm taking like up to 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of acetaminophen to combat this. I'm going through like college, going through life, going through like just time, essentially weighed down by this like evil, an unseen, unknowing source of like energy where I'm like, I can't do this. So I am actually skipping forward a little bit because I think that the times when it was like the most, the times when it was comorbid was when I was younger. I think it was like before 18. And then I went into college. I am a freshman. I turned 19, and then really like shit hits the fan. Okay. I'm getting UTI after UTI. This is like, you know, now I'm escalating towards like 5 in a year, or maybe like 6. The worst that I ever had, I think I had close to like 12 or 13. And that doesn't mean that I treated every single one of these with antibiotics. I only treated around 5, and I'll get into that like later. But genuinely debilitating and humiliating, and quite literally like one of the worst experiences I've ever had with my body, physical pain. Because one, we as a society, I love that I say that so much, but like, girl, it's true, and you know it. We as a society are programmed to think that there are such thing as like less than diseases and more than diseases. So cancer would be considered more than a UTI. Duh. Okay. But the key thing that I'm tapping into here is that whether you're a cancer patient or you have a UTI and it's chronic, you kind of know what is going on, because this is an issue of chronic like pain, 2, chronic humiliation, 3, chronic medical freaking like dismissiveness in relation to what I was experiencing, because it's just a UTI. Oh, it's just a little stinging and burning when you go pee. Mary Ann, I would stay locked in my dorm room and piss in the sink, because I'm like, I have to get up every 30 seconds to go to the bathroom, and you want me to walk all the way down to the situation, down the hall, past all the shit, and back, and then get back, and then have to do it again? No. Granted, I was not sharing the room with anyone. However, this is what I was experiencing. I was going through 1, super, super, super major depression, 2, super, super, super sick, 3, UTIs. And yeah, you know, they're freaking all coming together at one time. And I do have a very vivid memory of sitting in my dorm room, and I dead ass had 12 bags of trash, like just in my room, because I felt like I could not go get up and take them to the trash, because I was in so much pain, because I was feeling so humiliated, because I was feeling so just like debilitated, to be honest. So when I was a freshman, I sought medical care in a different state with a different doctor, and they prescribed me antispasmodics. And an antispasmodic is typically prescribed to people who have bladder infections, I think, or just like where you need to essentially relax the bladder so that it's like, 1, releasing as much as possible pee when you do urinate, and 2, so that nothing is getting like stopped up in the bladder. Because essentially what happens with UTIs is you have most likely gotten the infection from external sources, and it travels up the urethra and then resides in the biofilm that's around the urethra. It doesn't really go up into the bladder until the like infection becomes more serious and it spreads, and that's how like kidney infections happen. But yeah, so I'm like essentially saying this because this is what the pain is. So the pain is the bacteria being like, you know, right in your urethra, and that's why it hurts when you pee. And so what we want to do when we take the antispasmodics, and really just in general when you have UTIs, is to expel as much fluid as you possibly can. And I will touch on this later because I ain't gonna lie, water is like 100% the answer. So going back, I have been told to take cranberry juice. I've been told to take cranberry pills. I've been told to take Cystex. I've been told to take, I think it's like pyrazine or something. It's like this thing that makes your urine like orange, like bright orange. And this is also something that helps deal with UTIs on the short term. I'm being prescribed like antibiotic after antibiotic after antibiotic, and eventually I get put on Bactrim. I am still kind of jumping around. I know I said I would go chronologically, but like whatever. So I get prescribed Bactrim, which is one of the strongest like antibiotics available to this type of thing that might be happening for me. They are not working. I am getting UTIs. I'm taking my medication. I finish it, it's still there, or I finish it and I'm feeling kind of better, and then like a few like weeks later it just comes right back. And again, debilitating, humiliating, awful. I spent so much money really like chasing after doctors, hoping that one of them would have an answer for me, and they fucking didn't. And we're about to get into some medical, not malpractice, but you know, just like medical dismissiveness. It's not just for women, but just for like this particular thing, for chronic illness, for UTIs, whatever it is, like it was just like really awful. So I get prescribed these antispasmodics by this doctor who I talked to, and she genuinely, out of all of the doctors that I had talked to before, she made me feel the least like my problem was like my fault and like a gross thing, and like really just or just like not like minimizing it at all. She's like, I'm genuinely sorry you're having this experience. This sounds awful. I'm gonna prescribe you antispasmodics and hopefully, you know, it makes it better, whatever. Little did I know that actually antispasmodics can cause UTIs, like again, or just like make them worse. I don't exactly know how. My dad like brought that to my attention, but we're in spring semester of my freshman year. I'm taking these antispasmodics, like, you know, occasionally, or just like when I'm supposed to. And eventually I stopped because I don't really feel like they're doing anything. And I also don't really want to like continue taking this thing, because there's also an element where like if you continue to take antispasmodics if you don't need them, it essentially relaxes the bladder in such a way that it's just becomes like really not good for you. So I stopped taking them, and it's March, and I am struggling with going to class. I'm struggling with hanging out with my friends. I'm struggling with like feeling like I literally matter and feeling like I can take care of myself, because at the time I was also going through like some major issues with my body image. And I was like effectively starving myself. I was really not eating enough. Like it was really difficult for me to go out my room, plus being like having these COVID symptoms, even though I wasn't testing positive. It was like the height of the pandemic, so I couldn't go to the dining hall. I had to rely on one of my friends. Like, bless her freaking heart. We don't talk anymore, but you know, she's great. She dropped me off like some groceries, and that just like honestly probably saved my life, because if like your body needs nutrients to like fight off infection, but just in general, if you're already in a weakened state and you're already not eating, like that's just like not a good recipe. You know this. Anyway, so I'm sick with whatever this COVID thing is. I have like a flu a fever. I'm feeling really awful. I have this recurring UTI that's still there. And I'm also not eating very well. And so this really led me down this like weird rabbit hole of myself again. I have this like very vivid memory. I'm in these like purple LED lights. I'm playing Minecraft. I am weeping on the phone with my dad, saying, I cannot do this anymore. I can't not have medical care, because I couldn't get I could only get like certain things through the school, which is like how I got my antispasmodics and like that like brief interaction with that doctor. I also forgot to say that while I was talking to that doctor, she told me that sometimes women just like go through periods where they have like UTIs like in their, or just like, you know, health issues, and they're kind of like not curable for the time being, but by the time they reach 20, it usually clears up. This is important for later. And I was like really relieved to hear that, because I'm like, okay, so that means that I don't have to struggle for the rest of my life with this awful thing that's happening to me. And yeah, so fast forward back to March of 2021, where I'm like, Dad, get me the heck out of here. Get me the heck out of here. And I am so blessed. I am so blessed and so grateful and so like amazing and like lovely and amazing to have somebody in my life that would do that for me. He came all the way out to Arizona and come pick me up, and we went back home, and I was able to go to the doctor and like talk to them about what was going on, like my doctor, and just like get another perspective. Okay, so this was like really amazing. This is when he let me know that the antispasmodics can actually make UTIs worse. And all this time, you know, I'm looking up like, what are some like ways that I can cure this? Like, how do I get over this? Like chronic UTI, recurring UTI, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, the main things that come up are the D-mannose and the cranberry, and the, you know, like just people trying to like sell you shit that have those things in it, but don't actually do anything. As far as like, if you're like continuing to like use this over and over and over again. I also want to touch on like the medication that I use and like what that kind of looked like for me, because basically I didn't know a lot of the things that you should know if you're going to be taking these things. One, the reason why you're asked to take cranberry juice or like cranberry pills is because cranberry is naturally acidic, and it naturally creates an acidic environment for the bacteria, and so the bacteria don't really like that. The main bacteria that does come when you have UTIs is E. coli, and E. coli can be spread with like feces, just like entering the urinary tract, or just like, you know, poor, like, I don't know, sometimes it's literally nothing. Once I got a UTI from a fucking lake, like, hello, that was terrible. And D-mannose is an extract of birch, I think, and it's essentially supposed to make the urinary tract and the biofilm around the urethra slippery so the E. coli can't like hold on to it. Both of these things you need to be taking like regularly and frequently. I tried taking like a supplement that had both, didn't work for me. Shocker, like all of it didn't really work for me until I found the end of the video, which we're gonna get to it, don't worry. So I'm taking all these supplements, I'm like looking up all these things, but I'm finding out that if you take too much cranberry, it becomes too acidic and it makes the UTI worse. If you like the D-mannose is really kind of like, it doesn't really do anything. I just think that it makes like the urinary tract slippery, so that if you have a mild UTI, it's likely that like the UTI or the E. coli have a harder time getting there when you're kind of like in the healing process, so you can't like get more. Not like that actually like did anything really, because I think that the D-mannose was genuinely like the least effective thing that I ever took for my UTIs. I was considering taking this brand, I forget what they're called, but they provide like drink supplements and like things that you can mix into drinks that make UTIs go way faster or whatever, blah blah blah. Anyway, I'm kind of in a rush. I probably shouldn't be in a rush talking about something like this, but anyway, I did everything under the sun to get rid of my shit. The things that I found the most effective were my like end all be all cure, which was probiotics, coconut water, mint water, and the pyrazine or whatever, that like orange creating thing. And then when I had like mild UTIs, I would take Cystex just for like the like initial, like I'm treating this is like both a painkiller and also like a bacterial control thing. And those things helped me. But what I want to really emphasize is that I have been dismissed by every single doctor I have ever talked to about this. There have been some people that have made me feel, you know, better about what I'm experiencing, but at the end of the day, what they end up doing is prescribing me stronger and stronger and stronger antibiotics until I am concerned that I'm taking so many antibiotics that it's like they're gonna be resistant to my body. So, like that the bacteria are gonna become resistant. So, as I'm continuing on and getting my treatment and talking to these doctors, and they're just telling me drink water and like have cranberry and blah blah blah, I contract Klebsiella pneumoniae, which is it's like another bug that is typically associated with UTIs. But the thing with Klebsiella is that it is really rare to get that in a UTI. It's also like much harder to get rid of than E. coli is. I had a culture done on almost every single urine sample that I ever provided to the lab, which like they probably got like so much from me because I was going through like this so often. And there were only 2 times that I got Klebsiella, but it was the worst ones for sure. It was aggressive. It would stay for much longer. I would finish the Bactrim and it would stay there. I would do another round of Bactrim and it would like barely clear up, and then I would still like be back in the same like situation. And I just want to like say like a few things about this, because one, I was prescribed to go to a urogynecologist, which like is a urologist and a gynecologist in one. I thought that it was going to be fine. It's the only time that I've ever had a doctor like peek up in between my legs and like do an examination in that way. And it was weird because there was 3 people in the room. One of them was a med student, which I'm like totally fine with. But the thing is that I told them that this is like, I asked for a second opinion. I said, is like it true that in some women UTIs will clear up after 20? The doctor dead ass laughed in my face. The doctor dead ass with my legs open and my coochie in their face. One of them probably had a finger up in there. She laughed at me. And I was like, duh. Absolutely, that's what happened. Absolutely, it takes a woman going through like genuinely a debilitating and humiliating thing happening to them, and a laugh in the face, and a slap on the back with here's another antibiotic, hope it helps. Let's get a culture of your urine. Are you pregnant? Is it possible that you're pregnant? Holy fucking shit. Genuinely the worst part of the entire experience, and you can tell, because there is no circumstance. I don't care if it was a silly thing that I asked. I don't care if it was a stupid question. I don't care. There is no reason why that doctor should have been doing that while my legs were spread for her, while I am begging her for an answer about what I can do about my things. And this is what turned me off of Western medicine, like as a whole. I'm not saying that Western medicine has no like good things to it. I genuinely think that Western medicine is one of the greatest things that we have ever developed as a society. But here's the thing. Why did it take coconut water, probiotics, and mint water to get rid of all of that in almost a few months? Why did it take me having to do all of the research by myself about what it takes to get rid of those things? Why did it take me going out and doing these things by myself? Why did it take a laugh in the face when my coochie was out? Why did it take antibiotic after antibiotic after antibiotic, test after test after test? Why did it take that much? Why did it take 4 years off my life to get to this like ultimate like coconut water and mint water? What do you mean? They're herbs. They're freaking fruit. Like, what do you mean? And then I learned that when you take 1 round of antibiotics, it takes you a full year to get your gut microbiome back to where it was when you first took them. It takes 1 year to put back a week's worth of damage. Like, it is because I was taking antibiotic after antibiotic after antibiotic that my body was not able to fight off Klebsiella or E. coli. It was me, like, going through all of the shit that I was going through, where I was practicing good hygiene. I was practicing like healthy sex. I was practicing like, you know, like I was taking the pills, I was taking the antibiotics, I was taking the D-Manus, the cranberry, whatever. I was doing everything that I thought that I should have been doing. I was doing everything that the doctors told me that I should be doing, and it still wasn't enough, because at the end of the day, at the end of the line, it was because I was taking so much antibiotics that I was never recommended to take probiotics with my antibiotics that made me suffer for that long. And it just is so like sad to me. I am sad for past me to have gone through oh my god to go through UTI after UTI after doctor after doctor after different antibiotic to different antibiotic to like finally get to the point where I'm like, yo, enough. Yo, I deserve to not have to suffer. I deserve to not have to put my body through pain in order to like go to school. Okay. I never forced myself. Well, you know, in the beginning I did force myself to like go to school and go to work and stuff. And like grin and bear it. But oh my God. I never forced myself to go through with it because genuinely, like, it was just, like, impossible for me to do that. So many times I heard from, like, female doctors, like, yeah, we as women, we're just expected to go to work and, like, deal with it. But, like, no. It's like if I went to work and there was a little bird, it was like if I was Prometheus and they were like, go to work, go to school, focus up, learn. Like, with a bird pecking at my damn intestines. So I started doing that. I started doing the Ayurveda. That's what happened, is I looked into Ayurveda. I tried oregano oil. That shit didn't work. I tried like so many of the like kind of like new age like you know, healing, whatever. And what did it for me was an ancient Hindu mother freaking like medicine system that deals with balancing the body, addressing the body as a whole, instead of dissecting me into a uterus and a bladder and a bacteria. Okay, it took me rebuilding my microbiome, refortifying, just bringing back life, because, and this speaks to like a greater spiritual concept or just like physical concept, that your body is designed to thrive. Your body is designed to work for you, to work well, and to function and fight for you. And your body will, if you take care of it, and if you have a healthy gut microbiome, and if you take care of your muscles and take care of your bones and take care of your skin, if you take care of yourself, your body will function properly. And that's the tea, is that I was nuking my intestines. I was nuking all of the, and like I was pre-med, and I know a whole lot about how the intestines like work and how they absorb like food and nutrients and bacteria and how they form poop and stuff. And it's just bananas to me to think about how I just wiped all of that out without even knowing. It's not even a second thought. It's like I didn't know. They didn't tell me that if I do this, then the thing that fundamentally affects my mood and my health and my happiness and all of these things is altered and changed and will not get back until a year. And it's like a year without probiotics. So like that's why it kind of helped like for me to go faster. That out of fucking nowhere, I learned about Ayurveda. I learned about balancing my body, balancing my responses, my bodily responses, trying to like cool the fire. So essentially, okay, just like a brief overview of Ayurveda. So it deals with doshas, and doshas are essentially talking about like different elemental balances in the body. There's earth, air, space, water, fire, or it's like earth, water, fire, space. Anyway, and if you have UTIs, that's an indicative of a overactive pitta dosha or fire dosha. And essentially, I mean, it tracks, right? It feels spicy down there when you're going through it, right? And so you're cooling it by using water doshas. I don't exactly remember the name, but using cooling properties like coconut water and mint water to essentially get rid of this shit. And I'm so dead ass. That is what caused me to not have them anymore. I do not deal with it anymore. I was going through 104-degree fevers almost 3 times a year. I was going through like every single time I felt like a tingle in my mind, a tingle in my coochie. I'm like, I have a UTI. I need it. Like, I can't like go to work, blah, blah, blah. Like, and I just do not think that you deserve to go through that. For me, I was searching far and fucking wide trying to find out like who has gone through this and how did they fix it. And I get that it's different for every person. I get that this is not something that every single person or woman goes through, but I know damn well that almost every woman's had a UTI in your life. Imagine you had that 13 times a year, like to the point of being like going to the hospital for a fever. Like, it was awful. It was genuinely awful. And the amount of times, like, so I have Kaiser, which, you know what, I'm not talking about healthcare today. So Kaiser has an e-visit thing, and you can fill out like essentially like this is what I'm going through, help. And then like, depending on what it is, like a nurse can prescribe you meds for it. You have a limit of 3 prescriptions, which I didn't know at the time, but you can only like reach out to them 3 times for something like this. So I couldn't even like justify to a nurse that I know what's going on with my body. I know what I need at the time. Like, I thought that it was antibiotics. And I need to get this done. And like, you know, the whole thing about being out of state too, like, was just like a whole struggle with trying to get like meds for it. But the way that it just never even crossed my mind that it could be the pharmaceuticals that I'm taking that are actually harming me it's just bananas to me. Okay, so my tips: as soon as you think that you have a UTI, you either take the pyrazine or I don't know what it's called, but it's these little tablets, and they're like UTI control. You take that, or you take Cystex, and that will numb your pain while also treating, like, having some bacterial control. You literally do not stop chugging water, chugging coconut water, chugging mint water until, like, you're peeing like maybe 10 times a day. You are drinking so much that it's like, it's almost uncomfortable. And like, that's part of the reason why I don't really like to drink coconut water anymore, because I associate it so heavily with like forcing myself to do this so that I'm flushing my body as much as possible, because that's the tease. You're trying to flush the bacteria out of you. And I get that antibiotics work for some people. I get the pharmaceuticals work for some people, but genuinely, it is absolutely disheartening and disillusioning when you treat yourself with something so simple. I grow mint, you know, I just had to pluck a little bit, muddle it up, put it in some water, let it steep a bit, and then drink it. And then that got rid of my shit. And as far as the probiotics go, I definitely recommend, it's called like Nature's Organic or something. It's in like a green bottle. I don't know. And you take the lactobacillus strains. You can take like a mix, but the ones that worked the best for me were Lactobacillus reuteri, rahumus. Acidophilus is good. I got recommended acidophilus the first time around, or like that was like the first one that I got recommended to, and I didn't really find that it worked that well for me, because I found out that if you take like, so essentially, like, think about it like, if you're taking a bunch of different types of lactobacillus like bacteria or probiotics to put in you, the more kinds that you have, the more ways that your body has to fight these bacteria, these like bad bacteria that are happening in your body. And while taking some like just reuteri worked for me and taking just rahumus worked for me, I do think that I recommend to take like more than one, because the first one that I ever took was a mix of like 3. I think it was acidophilus, reuteri, and rahumus, which are generally like considered to be like the stronger lactobacillus bacteria that can like come and repopulate in your gut. And it's just like seriously changed my life. It made me, it let me take back this like part of myself, which was just existing peacefully in the world, without thinking like there's something wrong with me, or there's something that is happening in my body that other people can't see, that I can't really talk about, because it's not really like, oh, it's like I have a UTI, oh, sorry, you know, take a painkiller. Like, it's just, it was debilitating at the time. Again, it took like up so much of my life, and I'm very grateful to be over it. I'm very grateful to know the things that I know, and like am telling you that you don't need to buy somebody else's product or buy into big pharma in order to get over the things that you're experiencing and like the pain in your body, because like I'm so for real. I genuinely believe that like nature heals all. Your body is like a natural healer. Your body wants you to be healthy. Your body wants you to feel good, and you deserve to feel good, and you deserve to feel healthy, and you deserve to live your life without chronic pain. Absolutely look up Ayurveda if that's something that like resonates with you, or just look up like probiotics in general. Like, I think that in general people should just be taking probiotics. They're so good for you. Personally, I don't anymore. I do feel like you can maintain and even like thrive your microbiome, your gut microbiome, by your diet. But but I'm just telling you, like, we are nature's children. We are plants. We're just like meaty and like have thoughts, you know, and can express them the way that like humans understand them. And it doesn't take much to realize that like everything is provided for us by the world. And it's no wonder that we are like programmed to be healthy, because if you just think about the complexity of your body, like the way you don't have to think about breathing and the way you don't have to think about your heart beating, it's just like, girl, you're taken care of. You're gonna be okay. I love you so, so much. I literally have to go. I'm getting dinner. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I hope this helped you. I hope you found resonance and peace and love and slay in this conversation. Take your probiotics, children. Drink your coconut water. Drink your milk water, mint water. Drink your regular water. And go piss, girl.